So this is Kumar here, and I am one who will be taking you through the session today. And we will start with the introduction, and then if you have any questions or anything, the way of the training and the how things will go. So if you want to understand anything else, then maybe we can take those questions and then discuss through. Um, to start with, myself, Kumar, and once again, warm welcome to all of you. And let's make a start. Before we start, if you guys have anything, maybe we can have, but at the end of the session, again, we can have. Maybe I will say we will take the questions at the end, and we will start from the session what we have planned today. So I'll go through the introduction and I will give you the overview of the ServiceNow, why we need to get into the ServiceNow and why the ServiceNow is a hot cake today. And there are architecture and other things will be discussed in the upcoming meeting. But for the now, I kept it very simple so that we have an interaction session between you and me. And then also we have some kind of an understanding of how the platform and what actually platform delivers to us and how it all started, what the journey of and how things are. So starting with what I have an agenda for today is I have kept for what is ServiceNow and why we use the ServiceNow and what is the best foundation, like whether you can actually deploy with the ServiceNow in if ServiceNow is kind of an application, right? So it can be deployed in any places. How you deploy them, if you need to deploy them in the physical server, or it can be deployed on the cloud. So what happens actually in each phases? So what are the models? We will discuss that, and also the versions of the ServiceNow. What are the versions we have? I think many of you, if you're already getting in, then you might be knowing the current version is the Roam. Also the competitors, there are many competitors similar to ServiceNow, but they are again competing with ServiceNow, whether they are able to reach as per the survey. That is also we will see there. And also I will show you the developer instance, what happens actually when the ServiceNow, you get a ServiceNow development instance where in the development environment you can do some stuff on your own for the learning purpose, and that helps in terms of you gaining your hands-on experience. Maybe even you can do up to the integrations as well. There is an integration when I talk about the integration, you can also even reach to the third party and then tool and get the data, or you can push the data from the third party to the ServiceNow. So you can even go up to the integration and then do things. Along with that, actually, you can. I will also explain there is a community wherein in the ServiceNow, what done is they have kept a community where users will log in their issues, and then the other end, the expert or an SMEs will come and then actually they answer the questions. Like if you struggle in somewhere with the issues when you are doing enhancement of your function of your story, or the business user who is asking a requirement to be developed in ServiceNow, but you had to develop, but you struck somewhere, or you are not able to proceed with how you are to deliver that, then the community will help in terms of doing that. You can log in your questions there, and then I will show you the page where how you can go to or reach you to the community. So with this, I'll go slide by slide, and then at the end, I will also show you my developer instance so that you can see the glimpse of how the ServiceNow instance looks. And then in the down the line, after once we start our regular sessions, then we will have furthermore the details of how to configure ServiceNow and what type of the customization we do in ServiceNow. So what is ServiceNow actually? The ServiceNow is an application. As I said, that it is a software which has been built already. It is being kept somewhere, and the ServiceNow is maintaining it. It is not that we actually develop something for ServiceNow, right? So it is actually as per the customer need we develop. I'm working for a customer. I am working for my own company. and we brought the ServiceNow software, then ServiceNow is giving a package. In terms of actually the package, when you get a mobile, you see you get a sum of softwares which are already installed, that are already done. You can't even go and then do something over there. But what will happen in ServiceNow, you take a software that has a basic level of the setup is configured, and then on top of that basic setup, you will start enhancing the functionality as per your company needs. So that means ServiceNow give you something, on top of it you develop something more as per your company needs. So what actually the ServiceNow started with, actually it started with the ITSM platform. When I say ITSM platform, you might have heard of incident, problem, change. Why this comes into picture? When you talk about the incident, problem, change, take an example of our any of the telecom vendors, maybe the Reliance or Airtel. They had to give a service. So when they had to give a service, the customer will call somebody who is sitting on the front end, who is called as a service desk or a help desk agent. They need to be attending the service calls. When I have an issue in my mobile or mobile data services, I call the customer care. And what happens? The service, somebody has to register on the back end who takes a call, and then who is attending. He can't just talk and then he close something. Something has to be recorded on the back end, and that has to be finally resolved. So to do that, what happens? We will have an ITSM platform built on the back end. There are many tools which will be giving the ITSM platform. The ServiceNow is one of them, which is leading today. And that is why it is in a hot cake in the market, where the skills have been looked around by the organizations, where they are hiring hiring actually the engineers who has the experience in ServiceNow. So on ITSM, if I talk about the incident, I was giving an example of the telecom operator where customer calls and then they register a complaint. When they register a complaint on the back end, there is this form which is required, where the form has been filled and registered. And at the end, once it is registered, it has to be given it to the technical team who actually look at and then resolve the issue. So what will happen? The technical team is assigned. That called as a assignment group in ServiceNow. When it assigned to that group, there will be a person within that group who will be picking that case and then our incident and then handle them. So likewise, you have multiple other modules which are supporting their own functions. That functions will be part of the ITSM. If you know ITIL foundations, then you will be understanding the ITSM, the terminologies what we use, like incident, problem, change, service catalog, or a service fulfillment, service, the event management. There are a lot more into it again. So all these aspects will be covered inside ServiceNow. But the training from now, if you want, only we will be limiting to the ITSM. We will discuss that as well. And for them now, I just go through the further slides. Actually, what is ServiceNow? I just wanted to give a introduction of the ServiceNow and why ServiceNow, and that is what it is. And it has a different modules. When I talk about the incident, problem, change, right? It has a different modules within the application been already created, and those modules will be used by the organization for their customization. So when I say that you have an incident, when you click on a create, there is a button called create, or there is a menu called create on the navigator. I will show you that as well at the end of the session. And then when it opens a form, and then the customer or an agent will fill that, and then in behalf of the customer, the agent will be filling them, or even we can allow the customer to fill on the form on the portal itself. And then once the submit, that comes back to the agent, or it can go directly to a specific end user, the technical team who handle the cases or issues. The how ServiceNow evolved, actually, it was started in 2004 by the Fred Ludy. He was the CTO of the company Perigram Systems and the Remedy Corporation. So if you understand, there is a Remedy which is actually in another tool for ITSM. The Fred Rudy was working for that organization, and he actually opened his own organization in 2004. And that's how the ServiceNow started actually evolving, and then it started its journey from there. And around 16 to 17 years now, it has been grown. And you see that not only it is specific to the ITSM now, even when you talk about to your friends who has an experience in ITSM, or you have some knowledge of ITSM or in platforms, you talk about the ITSM, it's only I talk about incident, problem, change, service catalog, kind of it, right? The knowledge, survey, there are multiple other modules, CMDB. Along with that, there are other module or a platform which has been built as well. That is called an ITOM, ITBM, IT business management, IT operation management. There are other modules, security related, HR related. There are different modules being actually built inside the ServiceNow itself. So that is expertise will come as you go. You can't gain the experience in everything in one go. You have to gain experience with the basics first, and this training will give you basics, and then at least to get you into the somewhere and placed, and then so that you have a knowledge of ServiceNow and you know how to handle it and how to show yourself as an experienced resource. And why ServiceNow actually? So the question comes that why? What is the difference actually with other the providers of the ITSM platform? And then there are many more. I listed few of them here. If you talk about the few, then it's a high availability. The availability of the platform is well architectured. I will also show you the architecture in the later slides. But high availability platform, it has been built on the high availability. That means you might have your organization has some servers where the application is deployed. If it deployed in one application and one line of the network or one cable being connected to it, and then cable get cut, then it might actually go down, right? Your application is no more accessible. So the similar to that, actually, the ServiceNow is also done the larger thought on the how we can make our platform available for the end user up and running all the time. And that is where the thoughts comes in, that called as an advanced high availability architecture. So I will show you what is mean, and then we will also understand what it is. And also the global data center pair. When I say pair, you install something in one place and you have a similar setup in the other place. The replica will happen between the both actually the places. You have one in India and the one in US. Maybe the replication between, if the Indian data center gets shut down due to some issues, then within 6 minutes of the time it all switched to the US data center and your instance is up and running again. So in case of the worst case, if you think of the data center, it's collapsed from ServiceNow, where the data center, that means it is the devices which are supporting ServiceNow platform which you brought is being collapsed for in one region, then the other region will pick within few minutes. So that's the way the ServiceNow is being set up. So the global data center, when we talk, it's a two data centers being set up for one instance itself, and one, if it is going down, the other one on the data center level it takes place. Even the data center has the many other components where your instance is installed. There are many components which is actually together will make you one instance. That is a network architecture where you talk about, if you go into details of the network architecture, it is again it can be talked to long, but let's not go getting into too much in detail of the network, how they set up, but understand that the ServiceNow is set up on two data center pair based. Also, you have a multi-instance architecture. So what do you mean by multi-architectural instance architecture? You might need for your instance, you can't only have a production all the time, right? You might need a multi instances for your own organization. When you buy the production instance, then that is not in for development. So you will actually, because you can't do the development in the production instance, you need a dev instance, you need a testing instance, you need actually maybe even actually sandbox for your organization, the junior developers or the entry level engineers to play around and then learn. That's where it starts with the sandbox, or you will keep a spare instances for some POC purpose as well. So that way, normally the organization will have basic at least 3 instances. One is the dev, the test, and the production. The production is the primary, which is actually kept on, it is not untouched, it is only being managed by the few of the users or a few of the developers in your organization who administrate the production instance. And also the availability. When I talk about the availability, it is actually available, as I was telling, it is because the service now is a built on the high availability architecture. It's been available, and also the data center I was talking, so it is being available all the time. I have not seen that the instance is going down in a year, not more than at least a minute or two. I might have seen even in some cases where it might have, but it is available all the time throughout my experience, if I had to talk actually. And the performance wise, the on the back end, the availability, performance, backups, all these will be monitored on the back end by the ServiceNow itself. Proactively, they have a tools on the back end which actually monitors, and the engineers are sitting with from the ServiceNow. They actually monitor the tool, and they actually look around all the clock and then see that what are the critical resources where our customer is getting impacted. And if there is something which has been actually raised, when the alarm is being raised at the ServiceNow end, they actually raise a case on their own behalf of us, and then they address the issue on the back end, which where you will not even come to know that there is an issue was occurred for our instance. So in case if you have observed some issues, then you can also go back and report it. There is a way to report it. We call it as an iPortal, where the communication between the ServiceNow and the customer will be happening. And also it's a web-based platform. When I say web-based, you actually access through the internet. You access the Gmail, Facebook, or you access the yahoo.com, then those are all on the web-based, right? What will happen in the Gmail, Yahoo, you don't have a control of actually develop anything, any functionality on those platforms. But in the ServiceNow, you have a functionality to develop. So, but you access the platform through the web itself. And also what happens when you say web, it can be even if the customer want actually them to be deployed in a physical server, ServiceNow also provide those functionality where it can be deployed. But many of the customers, we are depending on the web-based platform. It has been launched in the data centers of the ServiceNow, and it is being used inside there itself, and means managed by the data center is managed by the ServiceNow itself. The cost of the product only we will be using, where we use the application and we enhance the application. That's it from our end, nothing else. We don't need a server where we had to deploy. If some customers who want actually secure, and then we want actually everything to be installed in our data center, in the customer's data center, even that's possible. There is an automated upgrade. During the upgrade, if the service now coming back and then say that yeah, there is a need for your instance upgrade, or even you say that you had to plan your upgrade, there is a new release which has come actually from ServiceNow, or a patch which has come from the ServiceNow, then what happens actually, ServiceNow creates a ServiceNow create a change request on your platform. I was talking about the iPortal. You will all come to know more of this terminology which I'm talking in the upcoming sessions, like iPortal. What is mean by iPortal? Why we use the iPortal there? So I just give couple of few hints on them, not going into the details. If we talk about all those details, then it goes into longer sessions today. The automated upgrade, I said, it is actually if the ServiceNow releases something, some patch or a major release of the version of the ServiceNow, then you might need to upgrade. So what will happen? You just schedule it and leave it so that it is actually upgrading your instance on its own. On the back end, once it is completed, you get a notification. You don't have to be keep monitoring it, but the what normally process happens, it actually there is a process we build in terms of the upgrades. We upgrade the dev instance, and then we upgrade the test instances, and we keep the repository, and we freeze the production instance deployments, and then we do the finally the deployment, the production upgrade. Once the production upgrade is done, then there may be a fixes which you have actually get ready in the dev instances already, and those been moved to your production instances respective to your instance where you have done the customization. So there are a lot of process which is involved in terms of the automation, but the individual go and install the plugin or install the software in your instances for the newer version, that is not required. It is just a there is a schedule, there is a form which you fill and then send it to the ServiceNow, and then ServiceNow take care of entire upgrade during that same time, between the time what you have scheduled. It start on its own, and somebody monitors from the ServiceNow on the back end. The native mobile interface these days, when you talk about the any software which is available on the mobile, what ServiceNow also come up is they have made a native mobile interfaces, and you can build the desktop based or a mobile based applications which can be visible in mobile, as well as you can actually have that only for the specific desktop based applications. So that is where the service now has come up, and that is why it is also been recognized as like on the top, because it can be made any applications which you want. For example, you have developed an application for the field management where any engineer going onto the field, you can't carry the laptop. Maybe you might carry this mobile, and through the mobile he has to resolve issue from the place where he is now. He might go to the customer place to attend an issue, and then he had to take a click of all the devices which been installed, and then he has to report the issue back. And then once it is resolved, then he has to take a customer feedback and then upload them onto the case and then or the issue, and then finally he has to resolve. He can do that everything on the mobile when he's at the customer place itself. So that's the way it is being developed. And also the customer focused, I was talking about the instances where it is being monitored on the back end in behalf of us, and the end-to-end is maintained by the ServiceNow. It is installed in somewhere. If it is in a hardware issue for that particular server where they installed our instance, even the customer in the ServiceNow will take care, and the customer will not even come to know that there is an issue on the back end, right? I was talking about that. And also they do the customer focused, how they focus it. If you can proactively if I want to take the ServiceNow agents will be monitoring your instance, and they come and then they report you the issues before you come across. And if you come across, then you can go back and then report. But when you report, you can escalate till the time where your sales partners, and they are very interactive, and they are actually very responsive when you ask something. If you ask, actually there is a case which has been raised to ServiceNow and there is no response, you go to the sales partner who actually needs some support, or there is a customer care where you can call and then ask, actually I need this to be escalated, and then all that. So that always will come, and then but they will not leave it too long. Actually ServiceNow is very responsive in terms of if you ask for new the functionalities, or they want to discuss something what you wanted, actually they always cooperate you, and they are with you all the time. That is where actually the customer focus is very much the good in ServiceNow. That is where actually it has been attracting more and more customers on ASN. And there is an automated workflow. There are too many changes which is happening in the ServiceNow. Initially they built actually the workflows. Maybe you say for example there is a form which has been submitted by the customer, and when it submits, actually the user actually want at the end again you had to take that for an approval before it goes and then reach to the fulfillment team. So you want to build this work process on the ServiceNow. You have a form for a, maybe I will take an example of the employee who joined the company. He actually want to register, or you want to raise a request for the laptop, or you want to replace the laptop for some reason, then you might actually raise a request there on the form. There is a form which you have developed for the organization to use it, and then on the form they fill the details, and then current hardware asset details, and then he need a replace and the justification, then he submits. Then it has to go to the respective team at the back end. Before it goes, you want to place an approval, then you can also do the approvals actually on the process. It is not pre-built, it is actually you are customizing for your organization, so those workflows can be built on the back end. And there are ways actually, now it is a flow designer is coming into picture. More of the users are using the flow designer is one of the concept to automate the flows. That also we will talk in the upcoming sessions. And also drag and drop, there is a functionality to just to drag and drop, and then also less code. Now ServiceNow is more of talking about less code, and then anyone can build the ServiceNow and then use, and then so that you don't need to more of aware of the ServiceNow scripting which you needed, and it is needed. The JavaScript basics are needed. I will also cover that in the I will also tell you what might be the basics which is required for you to plan. Then we'll take that the any questions at the end again. So drag and drop functionality, the doing the less coding in ServiceNow, so that the functionality starts working without doing much coding. There are somewhere you need a basic coding to be done, that will be used the JavaScript, and some places where we use the portal, where you use the AngularJS and CSS, HTML. That we will also getting in. So this is overall. I just taken a couple of minutes to make you clear on the why ServiceNow. So this is where it gives a more of actually, and also I was talking earlier about the ITSM, ITOM, ITBM. There is a platform which has been built. All the platforms are being built within one, right? If the if customer want only ITSM, they can buy the ITSM, but the combination of the ITOM, where we talk about the discovery, service mapping, and then many more actually, event management, orchestration. There are a lot more will come into the ITOM. And in the ITBM, we talk about the business management, the where the business management applications will need some demand which comes in the business, and then that needs to be converted into projects, and then it has to be delivered as a story and further on. So that is the whole thing. And also the security related, you say we call it as a GRC module, and then there is a module called SecOps. There are a lot more, and HR module. So in the next sessions, I will also take you through the architecture of the ServiceNow, so that the whole platform architecture and the capabilities, I can say, that will gives you more in-depth knowledge of what actually ServiceNow provides. So why ServiceNow? I was talking actually. This is where I was talking too much in the bullets there. You see the global pair. If you have something over here in this country, there is another one in the other places. So if this data center get collapsed, then this data center will be picking up any functionality which has been built on this data center is actually transferred on to the next. And then high availability, I was talking, and also HA transfer, how it happens. This all in the network terminology. I just place them how these works. The one of the customer who need actually the multiple instances, then you can have, and also multiple nodes it builds, like the scalability. When we are talking, if your instance is getting slower as your applications or the customization is increased, what they do is they deploy the more and more nodes here, so that your instance will be stable. So when I talk about the nodes, if you are using your laptop with 4 GB of the memory, for example, so then it might not be enough as you deploy more and more applications in your laptop, right? So similar to that, that is an easy way I have said, but there are other terminologies we can talk. But so you can increase to 8 GB or the 16 GB memory in your laptop, so that it can actually scale up and then it can work faster, right? So that's the way. And the database also the same way. as the data comes in, your database will be scaled as you need. So that is all that is in the shared environment. Means it is not specific to your own instance. It is actually shared across the multiple customers in that data center. So what happens here, each customer has the replica in the other data center. When I talk about the data center, maybe in India you might have a data center in the Bangalore or in Hyderabad, and the other one in Mumbai or in Delhi, right? So the one which is going down, then it can take care, and then you have a replica available all the time that taken care by the ServiceNow how the replication happens. So replications happens within few seconds, and the data loads between these two actually, and then have availability all the time. So that's more on the high availability. And I was also talking about the models, right? So I was given an example of Gmail, Yahoo. I was talking earlier actually. So what is actually those? The software as a service, maybe you talk about the platforms these days. There are more actually, but I have specified only 3 of them now. One is the software as a service. The service has to be provided. Maybe you say Gmail, you just go and then you type gmail.com. So then you get into the Gmail where you authorize, you given a registration page where you do the registration, and once you do that, then you're able to log into the page there, and then you use the functionality. But the functionality on the back end which has been developed, on the left side they might be showing that inbox and then sent item, and you might need something more for your own. You can't do it. The modules which has been provided by the Gmail, that's the only thing which you can use. It is not more than anything are there, right? That is where actually these the platform as a service will be coming into picture. What will happen, some of these tools which I mentioned here, including the ServiceNow in the past, in the second line here, this called as the ServiceNow is called as a platform as a service. What will happen? They give you a platform. What they built already some basics on the platform, and on top of that you are building something, correct? And these tools are something similar, like Windows, Azure. There might be some of the different functionality altogether. I just mentioned for your understanding. And also there is another part topic where infrastructure as a service. So even the service now, when you say platform, you have to build an infrastructure. That infrastructure is also maintained by the service now there. So where your application is being launched, that application is also being maintained by the ServiceNow itself, right? And even the software which has been developed, or you might be customized something, but they will not be actually too much getting into the customization level. They will help you at some level what customization you have done which can be supported, because the customization is specific to the customer, right? They will actually always insist you stay out of box what we are giving, because if you do too much customization, the maintenance will become too bulky later. So what ServiceNow suggests, you actually keep as out of box. But in many of the cases, customers will not like only out of box, because the functions or the features which have been given, or the options which are already given on the forms, that is not enough for the customer to use, and then customer to adapt to their environment. So what they do is they do the customization. The platform as a service, where you do you do the enhancement. And the infrastructure as a service, I was talking, like you need a server where you can launch your applications, where you can actually deploy your applications. Maybe you have deployed, or you brought actually the ServiceNow itself. You say that I have an infrastructure, or I have a data center where I want to install the services on those platform, and then take it further, right? So then you might have a Java applications, you might have any other mainframe only applications which you have deployed them, or you want to deploy in one of the server and use it in your organization. How you give access? You will actually give access through your network, and you have built your network. You have a data center where data center is being managed by your own team actually within the organization, right? So, but what will happen in the infrastructure as a service? You might be hearing that the Amazon cloud, the IBM cloud, and there are GCP. There are many other the vendors who are providing actually the infrastructure which you can actually use it. The Rackspace is one of them, which is leading actually, where they have their own data centers where you actually go and deploy your application, and then the infrastructure is maintained by them. Means if you need a server, you ask for the server, they actually say that within this time you will be having a server ready at your place, and then it is connected and where you can host your applications. So it goes in that way actually. So that is called as an infrastructure as a service. I will not go too much into details. If you have any questions, maybe we can cover up in the next upcoming sessions, but I will stop here for the deployment models what you have. But ServiceNow can be deployed in the cloud. It is available in the cloud where it is ready for to use. But if you want them to be used in your own infrastructure, then you can also ask for that. Now I'll come to the versions of the ServiceNow. Where they every 6 months, I think initially when you see these actually right, they have actually taken the releases based on the name of the place. At least if you say London is one of the place, correct? So that's way you see all these are one of the place in a country. And initially when they started 2004, even though they started, it is not that too much they were developed at that time. They started basics, but it is not too much attractive at that level in 2004 if you talk. But as they go, they know that how the market is capturing and what market is expecting, where they had to release their functionalities sooner and sooner. Initially they started with the one release, one per an year, the release, so that your feature has to be waiting till an year. If you had to have ServiceNow build some functionality, but that need to be used by the customer, that will be taking an hour, or it will be taking a couple of years to actually you take ServiceNow is released in a year and then you upgrade them, right? And what actually is happening now is more of actually everything is coming in 6 months. If ServiceNow thought of doing this, is they will build a roadmap and they will release that in 6 months, and then your functionality is ready to use in 6 months. And if you want, you can upgrade it to the current version, which is in Rome, and then the use the functionality what is available in Rome actually. The base functionality will be enhanced by the ServiceNow, and then we use actually them actually as we needed. So this is where actually you see after 2016 or 17, you see always in year in March you will get one, and the other one in the July or August actually, or in the September month you will see the second version of the ServiceNow will be released in that year. So that's how you see that every year you will have two versions of the ServiceNow, and these are the versions which is upgraded. Current version, latest version, which is released couple of months or a month back in September, it is Rome. So that's into 2020, and the current or latest version, if you ask in ServiceNow, that is the Rome 2020. So now I will just show you the instance where I just wanted to show you how the home page will look and what we call actually in the home page. Right, when you actually log in into the ServiceNow, you see three main places where you actually do your you will be able to go, and then you will be able to search, or you will be able to find the icons where you can click and then get the content visible on the bottom. So that is where we talk about the three things which is called as an application navigator, where I was talking, if you want a incident module, you type an incident on the search over here, there is a filter over here, right? So you search on the filter there, incident, then it will show related to the incident module. And if you type about the change, then the change module will be displayed. So that's where the application navigator come into picture. This is more of the application where you want to navigate to any specific module or application within this the ServiceNow. Then you will be using those modules here, and then you navigate to them. So when you click and then select any of these, there will be content of that page to be shown, where it shows actually you have a second tab here, the space where it will display the content of what you have selected here. What been selected? Once you select something as a dashboard, and then it shows dashboards which are actually, and then further you will have an icon where you see it's in this page itself. You have a guided setup where you click on the guided setup, then it takes to the next page, and then so it can actually the whatever the content which is actually linked to that page will be shown in here in this space. And also you have a banner on the top where you can actually display your service now and other thing what you can actually branding it to your own company, and it shows that the name of who is logged in, and then there is a search icon, and then there is a chart functionality which is available inside, but there are advanced chart which is actually being available inside. We call it as an agent chart, or a virtual agent we call here in ServiceNow. And also you can ask questions or a help actually, and then the settings there is. So that way you have the banner, the content frame, and the application navigator. We will also go get into the instance, and I will show you that how it shows, how you can actually see them. Also the competitor I was talking, so there are many competitor which you see in the organizations where there are IBM is one, and then Microsoft is one, Zendesk is one. There are many more actually competing for the ITSM module. So the module wise you have a competitors where the ServiceNow is many of them on the top at this point actually. So if you see this, this is only the screenshot is showing only for the ITSM, service management platform. So you have other competitors as well, but the ServiceNow is leading at this point again. And also I was talking about the community where you can seek the help from the SMEs or the one who is an expert. You can actually write, you can use this portal to actually get in, and then you register your issue, and then so that somebody from the end they come, and then they actually able to help you at that. So that's more of what I thought I will be covering in the slides. So what I do is I will also take you through my instance. Let me see whether my instance is up and running, so that we can see a couple of things in the instance there. Let's see. Okay. So what will happen when you get in? Actually, I told you, you will actually get an hands-on experience in this training. So how you get an hands-on? We get you instance where this is being provided by the ServiceNow for free of cost. Once you actually the login to the page, and then you get in the instance like this, and then you can start actually enhancing. Once you click on that, you will get into this page. I will also explain in the training sessions that how actually you can get your own instance and then start working on the instances. So once you log in, you see where I was showing in the screen actually the page where you have the application navigator here, and then on the top you see that the banner, and then the content frame on the right side here. So if I just wanted to show you, if you type incident, it's a module where you had to do some customization. I'm in the development and I'm logged in as a administrator now, right? I'm not logged in as a end user. So the end user will see something else. The administrators are the any other users who have access. You can accesses in ServiceNow. There is a module called access ACLs. We can configure, we call it as access level management. So you can configure the ACLs, and then you can control the visibility of any modules what you have here. So that way, if you just type an incident, wherever it is having an incident, it is started showing here, right? So these are the modules we call. One of the module, if you just want an incident here, if you go down, the incident is the main module. Under that you have a sub modules again. If you click on all, it will show all the incident which are being registered in your instance. And if you click on create new, yeah, you see this is the incident. And if you can just open an incident to see that what is that incident and why. The agent will see this page where you can actually customize which agent should see that what actually. That is where it's coming to picture related the specific to your organization, what you want to show to the which agent and what actually. So that all comes into the customization where you do it. So on the form, one of the example, if I wanted to tell you that what type of the customization, I think I'll take a minimum or a basic example. For example, you have logged in and wherein actually the ServiceNow is provided only these categories, but in your organization, you might not be having these, or you might have more than these. So then you might need to configure something. So how you do that, actually you might have something on the go to the configure dictionary and then you create, and there is other ways also. You go to the configuration and then you do go to the form layout and you do the additional customization. And also when you right click here, you have a choices, configure choices. You had to, these are one of the choices in this field, right? So you had to do those customization as you go. And the buttons which are visible, maybe for example you might need to do the additional buttons, or you might need to have you show those buttons based on the user who logged in. Then that customization is also possible in ServiceNow. And also you see this one here, when I click on the Arnold, it shows an additional field here. So when to show the new fields, when customer selecting a something over here, some choice you are given, and then based on these choice you want to show these the additional fields which was not visible earlier, right? So that all can be done on this. And also you see there is a watch list. These are some of the customization I was talking, but you can actually even do more than what getting it from the customer end. So the watch list don't have anything. If you see that this is the P1 incident where the P1 has to go to specific group where he has to monitor, he or she or within that group it has to be monitored, and you need to send a notification for that group. So then whenever anything which is created in critical, then you want to add a group here automatically, that is also possible to add in there. And also the work nodes, you see that there is an additional work nodes, and then there is a the customer can be visible, some of the additional nodes are not, so that can be also be customized. And these sections again, you might ask actually to even customize these. You might need an additional, maybe the configuration item being shown here, but the customer asks, okay, I want the customer, instead of clicking on here and then seeing that what the CI details are, I want something over here itself, that I want a section here where I can see all those details. So then you can bring that into the section here and then show. So there are many more customization. I talk about only few of them. And also some of things you say, you can create a problem from here, you can create a request, you can create a child incident. Maybe you say that there is a major outage which is going on in your organization, and that is linking with there are many customers are reporting, and but you can't actually keep that customer not registering a complaint or giving a one incident itself. It has to go specific to the customer and customer, right? So you will register the complaint and against each of the customer, and then you link it to the same the parent incident. You call it as a parent incident, and this becomes a parent, and there will be a child incident which will be linked to all the other customers issues related to the same issue which you are already working on. And if I talk about the other modules where in ServiceNow, if you go back and then I just talk about the incident now, right? And that is one. And then also when you see the create module, you get a new form where you fill the details. Maybe the agent gets this, who called actually, so you fill the details, and then what is the short description of the issue, and then the description of the issue, and then you go and then submit it. So, and there is an automation where you might even think of actually you had to close these within that certain time and certain time frame. All that can also be done. There are many more customization is possible. And also on the top you see this is the applications, and then there is an update set we call the developer thing. The whatever you have done customization, you might need these to be the advanced the test instance or a production instance, right? How you do that, we call here in ServiceNow as a the update set, and also we call actually the applications. You can even develop your own individual applications, and you can move the applications to the one into the other instances. Along with that, majorly we move actually the update based using the base update sets actually. So we'll learn that as well. And there are many things we will learn, but for now I will just show you. If I go the change module, there is a change which you can create, and then there is a inbuilt workflow which has already been built for the change. I will also see that if I can show you something which is. So this is the change, right? There is a stages which has been built here, where the stages which is being actually where it's created. There are a lot of details which have been actually uh, and we even customizing these stages if you need it. And or you want to change this form itself when somebody is creating a change, then you might there are changes standard there are types which have been already created by the service now, but that is not enough for us. You can even do the customization on that, or you can create a new form itself for the entire, and you can build even the templates. There are several templates where you want to fill all these, and then you have the templates which you can create and then make them visible when the user comes in and then click on those templates. Then the auto populates the details what will be required for the template, or it is being filled by the administrator by the template, and then it takes there. And yeah, so more or less, I think I thought I will cover that, and maybe take a questions from you, and then maybe we can. So maybe we can take questions, and then I will be able to answer you any of the specific questions if you have. I thought I will cover you for around 45 minutes. I can even go longer, but I thought at least I will give you how we start and then how we take our sessions in the upcoming meetings and upcoming training sessions. So that's the things which I wanted to cover. And if you have any questions, maybe I can take you and start discussing now. Thank you. Thanks for joining again. Anyone has any questions?
Hi Vinay, this is Radha.
Hi, Radha.
Uh, you told that we need that script knowledge, right?
Correct. Little
But
bit it is that
I have zero knowledge on JavaScript, anything. So, is it right thought to start my career with the service now without a scripting knowledge?
good question. Okay, I think that's a good question. When many of the one who start learning ServiceNow will have this, because maybe we are actually from the different background, or we just passed out from the engineering, and then we thought we will start ServiceNow because it's an hot cake today, right? So, but yes, that's a good thought of starting with without having the knowledge on scripting. It is not that it is a must actually at the point starting actually where you had to learn the service now. So you have already done some level of the engineering where you have learned something, or you have your computer science. If you have done some courses, you already learned some basics, correct? Those
Yes.
basics will helping here. That's not that you had to need an advanced level of scripting. I was talking about the community, correct? The
Yes.
community you in terms of the customization. So that is not that you have to be learned too much. You will actually use the community to actually take some of the script and then use it. But you should have you will learn in this training how to adopt them actually as you go, right? How to utilize the customization, or a customization done by somebody who is explained in the community, which you will actually use it in your instances where you do the customization. So it is not, if you answer to your question whether I need to be an expert or I need to have start parallelly doing the learning of the scripting. The scripting, there are specific things which you had to learn. It is not that it is must, because ServiceNow is also moving into something like no code the platform. They want to make it as a without code, anyone can actually do the development. That's how they are moving towards. So they are reducing many of the scripting where we write earlier. So we were writing even in the workflows, many of the places where we were writing the scripting, but now it is just a drive where your code is ready there. So many of the places it is replaced, but some places it is definitely needed. It is actually, you don't think that it is too complex to learn the scripting what we will be writing inside ServiceNow. And also you will take the help of community when you do the development. To start the learning, I don't think you have to be afraid of starting your journey in ServiceNow without having the scripting.
Thanks, Vinay.
Yeah. Any other questions? Because in this session, you will also learn some logics of the getting into the basics, actually, how you write actually the coding, because we will also start writing some basic level of scripting during our training, so that it makes you some level of comfort when you actually go in. There is some effort which is required, but nothing in too much, because as you learn, you will understand the whole platform and do it, right? So it is not that starting itself, as you don't know maybe ServiceNow, then you will know ServiceNow, where what module, what we use, how we customize it. Each of them you will start learning, and through that again there will be a scripting we will be talking about. That scripting discussions will take you at least what you needed for scripting in ServiceNow. I will also have some sessions to do the scripting, and that will be helping you what level of scripting you can write.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from anyone?
Yeah, this is Prakash. I have a doubt.
Hey, Prakash.
Yeah. So just wanted to confirm, you shown a console which was developer order. So it's like a paid tool or it's available open source?
No, it's from the ServiceNow. It is
Yeah.
provided free, and we use that platform to train, and then we use actually for our you will get your dedicated the instance, so that you can practice even after going out of the training. I will explain you the steps what you had to do to get a instance. Then you can build one, and then you can use it.
Is it?
It's for
So just
with
like,
your email.
yeah. Okay. So is there any restriction on the time or is it for the lifetime access?
Every 10 days you have to renew. That means whatever you have developed, you want to make that stayed there, then you have to actually at least log in within that 10 days once, so that it stays. Whatever the enhancements are, whatever you have developed in that instance, you want to make it stayed. If you're not used by a couple of days, more than 10 days, then the ServiceNow will take that instance and they will erase everything, and they will give you new instance again.
Is it? So only required is an like verified email ID. That's it, right?
Correct. And then the 10 days of time where you had to
Right.
just log in and then leave it within that 10 days once, so that your instance stay as is.
All right. Thank you.
And we do the practice in that instance again. You will get your own instance, and then we do the whatever I actually demo you. Maybe you go and then you practice, so that this training is not only just talking about the theory there, right? So it is more of practical, because when you actually get completing this training, then you need to know the basics, and then you need to know how actually the ServiceNow works, and you should also going back and then say that, yeah, I have a skills of ServiceNow and I can do the enhancements. So as part of this, each module, when we talk about then what each customization, each scripting, then you practice them on the back end on your end, and we give you the details of how you had to do the development, how you actually where you do what, and why we do that, and when you do this, what happens. A lot of those stuffs will be discussed in the meeting, and then in the next today's meeting, when we discussed, you go back and then you do something and then come back again. You might need something to be touch base, then we can also discuss them in the next meeting. So it's more of actually hand in hand it goes, like, right, I teach you, but how much you grasp in that session, and then again how much you go and then practice at the end. So that matters. When you do the practice more, then you actually thorough with the concepts, and then you actually up to the mark, and then you can showcase yourself as a hands-on experienced researcher.
So how much functionality and how much coding part? If you can just bifurcate between both.
If you ask me, the coding, not too much in the coding part you have, but you have some places where we call it as a client scripts. That is a something which you do it in the client side. There is a server side scripting where you actually, where we talk about the script include business rules. There are some terminologies within ServiceNow which we use where we write a scripting again, and there we use the JavaScript majorly. The JavaScript, when you say that, you might, it also gives a hint. It is not that you have to write the full line of the code. When you type something, the basic, then it also gives you some details on its own. You will be selecting and then use them. It is not that it is actually you have to memorize everything what you had to write it as a code there.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
So it's don't think that I'm starting learning. I think that you are started at least thinking of learning service now. That's a good path actually. Your thoughts are good now. What I suggest is it's a very hot cake in the market. Whenever you ask, I think you might have heard already if you are coming into this meeting. So uh, you might have heard from many of them saying that the service now, if you put your CV with the service now, then the people are looking around. So you will get many calls around, right? So that way it is now today. The skills matters again. I think once there is, I will say that once you start learning, we will also give you a lot of the details in there, and you actually will be, once you out of this training, at least you will be able to say that, yeah, I have the level of hands-on, I can go and then attend the interviews
Hi Vinay, this is
now. Yeah,
Radha
Radha,
again.
go ahead.
Are you going to provide any kind of material after this training?
There is a material, but it is not required for you, because what I say is you already do the hands-on on the session where we are doing, right? So you practice as you go. So you will get those concepts as you start working with me. I can also provide that if you definitely need something, then that can also be provided.
Yeah, we can get it by Google, but still.
Yeah, we can provide that as well.
And one more thing I wanted to ask you.
Mhm.
Is this training is going to help only for ServiceNow development or is admin also?
Both, it will be for the both. I was talking about some customization you do, for example, then there is an issue with those customization, how to handle those customization as well. This training will be helping for both the admin as well as for the developer.
Okay. If I want to start my career with only ServiceNow admin,
Mhm. You can,
so
you can.
how the market is the demand is in present market.
I'll suggest if you want to start only as an admin, the market is anyway it is good. It is not that you have an admin. What I suggest is not only stick to the admin. If you are having a aim of actually becoming a developer, ServiceNow developer, you had to be, right. At the end, you can't stay for the next 3 years as an admin. So you had to get into the development. So that way, this training will help you both. I suggest you had to think of both, not only specific to admin. If
Okay,
you
thanks. Question is
admin,
not
yeah.
actually. My cousin is she's also interested to learn service now, but she doesn't have any IT experience. She's from non-computers background, so I was thinking that it's difficult for her to understand the code if it is only ServiceNow admin, so she can do like configuration, all those things, right? Without code.
You see, in ServiceNow, you don't need too much of customization to be done. When it comes to the customization, customer will ask you some customization that can be done without having too much of IT skills actually. But there is some understanding is required that you will be learning as part of the training, but there will be hard work. If somebody is non-IT background, then they need to learn scripting, do something more. Yes, definitely will be hard work. Because it can't be, I can't say that it can be learned everything in this training, but if they don't have skills, then definitely there will be, they have, if you have skills, maybe you understand when I talk about some things specifically, but we will also drive you. We will also ask you what more you need, how you need, all that we will be asking. If you have done something and then you are not able to get through with it, we will also help you to yeah, so you will learn up to some, maybe if you don't have a non-IT background, then you might learn till 60 to 70%, and in the training, if you do the practice, then you might reach to 80 to 90% again. Yeah,
Okay, I'm clear.
but I'm not saying that it is too difficult for the non-IT team person. You can also still learn. Many of them, they don't had anything on the IT. I see that many of them are doing good now, because they might struggle for 6 months down the line, and then but after that they know that actually what is service now and how things works, right? Maybe they might be needing 1 or 2 months more practice, and then they are through with it. You
Hard
get it,
work.
automatically things will be ready for you next time.
Okay, Vinay, I am good.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Every
Yeah,
just
go ahead. Sorry, you're saying something?
every day you are going to start the same time this training, 9:30
I
a.m.
think I think the timing can actually based on availability of the team. So if the teams register, then we will confirm the time, and then we can take it from there. Probably morning will be good, around 9:30 to 10:30, 11. I think we should be able to do it.
It would be great if we push too early, like 1 hour before 9:30, like 8:30.
We can try that as well.
Yeah,
Maybe
we'll talk with that admin organizer.
I got
Let's
you.
see. Because I am working. I think others also must be working. Some
Right.
people.
I
So
got
it's we start by 9:30, 10:30 again. Weekends is fine, but weekdays we have to start with our own deliverables, right?
correct. Correct. Yeah, I
Just
understand. We can still do
my
that. We can still
company. Not
accommodate that.
I am not ordering, just requesting if possible.
Perfect, perfect. Your ask is considered. I think we can discuss with the admin team, and then see that all are available at the same time. I think we can do that. I think rather. So that can be done. I think we should not be. Earlier, I was doing a couple of months back. I was doing actually a session at 7. So
Yeah,
even the request
that
has
is
come
more
there.
helpful if this all team is fine with
Yeah,
7 to 8.
yeah. We can still do that. Should not be a problem.
Yeah, we can ask organizer to talk with others. I think others also are there in this call. Can anyone tell if you have any problem with 7?
So anyone, I think, yeah, they might have to decide yet. I think, rather
Okay,
maybe let
okay.
everyone to the admin, because no one might be decided finally and then start the training, right? So everyone has to be confirmed back to the admin team. So they have their own choices, and it's more entertained here. They can go back and then discuss and then come back with their questions, and then we are all happy to help you here. And once they talk to the admin, they might have their own requests. So maybe if they would want to disclose here, they can talk to the admin and then finalize the date and time. Yeah. Okay, I think with this, I will take a break now. And so happy to meet you all here. And thanks for joining. And hope you enjoyed the session of an hour now. And we will have more sessions coming, and you will be excited to have it. Thank you.
Hello.
Rajini.
Hello. Hi, Vinay.
Hi. Hi, Rajini.
Hi. Sorry, it was delayed to join your session. I'm so sorry I missed your conversation. So already I've been working in IBM and on Windows side, and it was ServiceNow tool, but it was a ticketing tool. We used to work on the changes and the instance.
Right.
So this was ServiceNow is on the development side only. You're taking the session.
Correct, that's right. I will, yeah, the one which you are used already as an user, you might be using, right? So maybe use it for raising a change or you raising a incident, but there you might be some options which become actually visible to you. That customization will be talked in this meeting. Yeah, so we will be discussing, we will be understanding the whole development of ServiceNow in the upcoming sessions, Rajni.
Sure. I'm interested to learn the ServiceNow and development side also.
Right.
So is the session will be daily conducted? Do we need to register, or else you will be sending out a link to me? How it will be?
You can talk to the admin team. I think they had given a number and the email ID, right? So you can talk to the admin team who actually reach out to you, and you can specifically register there, and then after that the training will start. So, Rajini.
Okay, sure. Vinay, thanks a lot. Yeah. I'm so glad to join this session. It was very clear, but I missed your conversation before.
Yeah, I was going through, maybe I was waiting for 15 minutes and then I started my session. So yeah, maybe we'll have an opportunity to explain. I think if you need, might be recorded already, I think. So you can also go through the recording session. You can actually ask the team to share you the recording. Then that might help you again if you want to refresh what we talked in the beginning.
Sure. Daily at this time only the session will be?
Radha was asking at 7. So what I was telling is let's group and then have a discussion with admin and understand who else will be joining and they all comfortable at one time, and we can have it in one time, 1 hour or 1.5 hour every day. The training is at least maybe everyone can join at the same time, right? So we'll see that, make it early, maybe around 7 or 7:30, whichever is feasible for all.
Okay. Because I mean night shifts. I thought that it will be a suit for me. But anyways, if you move the time early also, it was no issues for me.
Great. Thanks to hear that. So Radha was asking, and so I'm not sure what time everyone is feasible. I will leave it to the admin to finalize that. So because I can't specifically ask each one and then make it confirmed now, but admin can work with you.
Sure, definitely, Vinay. No issues. You can ask. You can, as you wish, you can keep the timings. It will be very good for us.
Okay, any other questions? I think with this, I thought I will come to the end of this session. So if anyone has any questions, I can hold on. Otherwise, I think we are good to close the meeting. I'll wait for 30 seconds, and if no, so there is no questions, then I will go and then end the session for today. So thank you. Thanks all for joining, and wish you all the luck, and have a nice day. Take care.